Welcome back. We're on our 4th episode with Dr. Shane Creado. Your strategies are just so helpful. I've never met another person that knows so much about sleep. And I've just enjoyed so much listening to you in our previous podcasts and our course on Amen University with all you have to teach people about sleep, because there's just so much more than just identifying, your room is too bright. And I mean, all those things are important. It's just way more complicated. But actually with simple solutions, simpler than people think. So I'm excited about it.
So what about Freud and dreams? What's the latest thinking on why we dream, and is it the royal road to the unconscious?
No pressure there for me, right, Daniel? So Freud did have a lot of good points when it came to dreams. Unfortunately, he didn't have the benefit of SPECT imaging and a vast knowledge of neurobiology and neurophysiology. He said that our dreams are composite based on what we've experienced the previous day or weeks, what we're actually experiencing when we're asleep, and what we're anticipating the next day. So if you have a wind blowing on you through an open window, you might experience something similar that gets incorporated into your dreamscape. Well, he had a few things right there, actually, because when they've done experiments on rats traversing mazes, and they've had little sensors on their brains, when rats are in dream sleep, the same areas get activated. We also know that the areas, the hippocampus, which create the dreamscape, the topography and the timescape of dreams, we know that those areas help us think, memorize, retain memories as well. And so it makes perfect sense that the dream sleep is crucial for consolidating your memories. Now, we know that it's always known that, great, okay, you need to sleep after you've studied something to retain it. But it's also crucial that you get sleep prior to studying, because your brain is then like a dry sponge, as we've seen in a book written on sleep, Why We Sleep. So we need sleep, quality sleep, before we study as well as after we study. It retains information. The interesting thing is there have been some studies when it comes to PTSD in terms of actually forcing people to undergo sleep deprivation. So someone's had a traumatic event and they force them to stay awake for that cycle rather than sleep for the 6 hours or whatever. And they've had less intense symptoms of PTSD if they do develop PTSD. So actually, they now feel that sleep after you've had a traumatic event probably consolidates those traumatic memories and can set you up for failure and worse PTSD symptoms.
Oh, that's so interesting. I didn't know that. Because one of the treatments for depression is sleep deprivation, is they actually reset. Did you know that? Joe
No,
Wu,
I think that sounds crazy.
Our friend Joe Wu, who's a psychiatrist and an imager at UCI, he published a number of studies on using, I guess it's chronotherapy, where they'll sleep deprive them for a night and then sort of try to reset their circadian rhythm. And it's found to work for depression. And it may be why the early morning awakening happens, because your brain's trying to reset itself and it's not good. But I never heard after a trauma to not go to sleep so that you don't consolidate.
That's super interesting.
Memory. Wow.
Yes. Sleep deprivation to help reset the biological rhythms in depression may be beneficial. People who have hypersomnia or excessive sleepiness associated with their depression. But if they have bipolar depression, sleep depriving people might put them at risk of triggering a manic or hypomanic event. Or if they have seizure disorders, it's probably a bad idea to sleep deprive someone because it might trigger a seizure. So in certain cases, I definitely see how that could be beneficial, but we've got to be...
Interesting that there's an actual clinical use for sleep deprivation, because it's used in torture too. I'm just saying. So,
all right, back to dreams. So Louis Gottschalk was the chairman of the Department of Psychiatry at UCI for a long time, and he was my neighbor when I was in college. And I used to love talking to him about dreams. And he said dreams typically contain three things. Something, a current event, something from the past, and a wish or a fear. And if you can understand those three things, you can help interpret dreams. So in your training at the University of Wisconsin, what were they teaching you about dream interpretation?
Yes, so we had weekly sessions with a psychoanalyst, Jim Gustafson, who was originally from Harvard Medical School, and he has been in the department for almost 40 years now, or more than 40 years at the University of Wisconsin. And we just talk about our patients and talk about dream analysis in the context of Jung and Freud and how it all makes sense to us, not just in terms of psychoanalysis, but dream interpretation and the neurobiology of it all. So I was getting interested in neurobiology back then. I saw the amazing work you were doing, and I was just hoping we could marry those two together. So yes, the way I interpret dreams with patients is understanding their past, their context. Because if you do a Google search, what does it mean for me to be flying in a dream? That's really not going to cut it for you, because it is your subjective experience. It is your subconscious mind bringing to conscious awareness something that's important for you. And that's where things get so interesting, because I've had some great breakthroughs with certain patients on understanding their dreams and how it might fuel them and help guide them along their journey in this life.
That's so good. We just adore you so much. If you're listening to this podcast or watching it, what's the one idea that you got from Dr. Creado? Take a picture of it, of us, write down the idea, post it on social media, tag us, share it, and then pick up a copy of Dr. Creado's book or download it. Peak Sleep Performance, the cutting edge sleep science that will guarantee a competitive advantage. You can also make an appointment with Dr. Creado if you go to amenclinics.com, call the call center, say I have a sleep problem. And virtually all of our docs now are virtual. And so no matter where you are in the world, you can have an appointment with Dr. Creado. All the clinics are open. We're scanning. So you could be by any of the 8 clinics and still have Dr. Creado as your doctor.
And what I love is with your book is there's a lot of books on sleep, and you've heard a lot of the same stuff over and over, but there are so many surprising things. As somebody who's actually really tried to do a lot of personal research on it, I was very surprised by some of the stuff I learned. So it's really interesting.
Naps may actually be good for your brain if you know what you're doing.
Right.
So I just want to thank you both for this amazing opportunity. I do feel that we at Amen Clinics have the most comprehensive sleep evaluation protocols combined with SPECT imaging and the Put Me to Sleep supplement, the Overcoming Insomnia video series. I think we have an amazing system in place to help people concurrently with their sleep and their mental health needs, which is so crucial, especially today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, my friend.
If you're enjoying the Brain Warriors Way podcast, please don't forget to subscribe so you'll always know when there's a new episode. And while you're at it, feel free to give us a review or 5-star rating, as that helps others find the podcast.
If you're considering coming to Amen Clinics or trying some of the brain healthy supplements from BrainMD, you can use the code podcast10 to get a 10% discount on a full evaluation at amenclinics.com or a 10% discount on all supplements at brainmdhealth.com. For more information, give us a call at 855-978-1363.